What is up, y'all? This is Douglas. Welcome back to the Bazaar FC. And today I wanted to have a discussion about Vanessa. As the game is growing in popularity, I would be under the assumption that most players are using the base heroes. And when I first started playing the Bazaar, I always wonder like how the hell are players gaining so much XP and having duplicates of items all the time? Like I just didn't understand. And as I learned more about the game, I learned about the events that happen throughout the days and XP gain. So in this video, I wanted to talk about Vanessa's absolute must-buy items. They're in no particular order, but I think these items are absolutely essential for you to run either on your board or just have as a passive item in your stash because these items get you ahead in the game. If I were to describe Vanessa, she is probably the easiest hero to learn, but hardest to master. She's like the just the queen of all, man. She's a really well-rounded hero, but she is probably the most like she's the fastest character to close out games in my opinion. Like if you like playing fast games, then she's your go-to because in my opinion, I feel like she struggles really, really late in the later stages of the game. As Pig and Mac kind of reign dominant in those spaces, and luckily, Vanessa doesn't have to stick in those phases of the game as she is able to close out the game. So these are the absolute four must buy items for Vanessa. One of the first items would be the star chart. Now, the star chart on its own doesn't really grant you a lot of utility in, like, let's say for battles, but the one important aspect of star chart that you have to remember is via the dock event, you are able to gain XP via that event. And I would argue that XP and economy are probably the biggest things that you have to worry about in this game. And when you are able to get ahead as far as levels, especially early on in the bazaar, you're pretty much like guaranteed a win in my opinion because it's just so valuable it's so valuable for you to be ahead as far as experience goes. And Vanessa is clearly one of the best heroes to do that because again, um if you're playing Vanessa or if you like the game plan around Vanessa, I would argue that she is the best hero to win if you're trying to close out the games as fast as possible, right? Like if you want like a 10 win streak, then Vanessa is your go-to hero. I think she's the best hero to close out the games as quick as possible. So again, I'm highlighting Star Chart not for its utility on the board, but for the extra event that she grants you access to, which is the docks to get more experience. And on that note, let's move and pivot to the wanted poster. Again, another item that doesn't. I mean, it used to be better, right? I think the past iteration was is used to have. Oh no, I think the current iteration has been reverted because if I remember correctly, this used to give you 2 XP if you played it on your board. But the wanted poster is another item that is incredibly useful. This one has more utility because if you are playing it on your board and you win with it, you get additional XP. Um, but this item again, it's incredibly strong because Vanessa's like key game plans is to get as far ahead as possible with XP, right? So if you have the space for the wanted poster on the board, then I would obviously incentivize you to use it. However, it is always a good idea to buy the wanted poster whenever you see it available on the shop. If you are not particular of how the structure works as far as the days, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe on day two, on day three, they start offering silver items and silver skills. On day six, they start offering gold items and skills, I believe. And on day eight, they start offering diamond items. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's the current structure of the game. So you can see the wanted poster as soon as day three, right? Again, a huge item to buy because XP is so invaluable in this game, and especially as Vanessa, right? I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but she is the queen of like getting ahead in XP. And on that note, just to kind of keep it relevant is the dark water anglerfish. Again, now this item is incredibly good in the current meta of the Bazaar, but not a lot of people know that this item as well gives you XP now if you utilize one of the events, which would be if you utilize Finn's Big Bite, which is the event that allows you to gain max health. If you currently have the Dark Water Anglerfish, you get an additional XP point, which is good, right? Again, just getting ahead of your opponents and being like levels ahead is huge. Like losing a fight, like a monster fight in the Bazaar is so bad for you, right? God, it could be disastrous for you. So, um if that were to happen, then you have ways to bounce back. So again, the dark water anglerfish is incredibly useful on the board. This is a really good item right now, so it's you're going to see it often, so you have no like reason to not buy it, right? And if you go to Finn's Big Bite, you have the additional um XP gain. So again, a lot of the items that I'm highlighting for Vanessa are very XP based, because it's just economy and XP is so invaluable in this game. Like you have to realize in the like past iterations of this game, I think in the past year, experience has been nerfed really hard because of how good or just how easy it was to access at some point. Like people would just skip past merchants to keep leveling up because it was just that good. And sometimes I still do that, right? Because there are events that just grant you like XP guaranteed, and I see XP and I want to click it. So really good items, the dark water anglerfish, and not only as a board utility item, but a XP gain. And the last item for Vanessa, this one is not related to XP, but fishing rod. Now, fishing rod is not related to any XP gain. However, the main like game plan, or one of the biggest game plans for Vanessa, is utilizing your aquatic items, right? And it used to be a lot easier to get item duplicates. In this game, but they've made it significantly rarer now. But there are certain items, for certain heroes that allow you to kind of bypass that, right? Whether it be like transformations or item acquisition. And fishing rod is one of my favorite items because you can get items that you're either fishing for, no pun intended, or get duplicates of, right? Like, for example, if you're looking for a clamera, you can manage to get one with the fishing rod. Solar acid, it's just such a good item to get early on via the fishing rod if you're unable to find it. And if you get duplicates, then it's more of a blessing. So fishing rod is really good to maybe incentivize you for like pivots. Maybe you get an item that helps you either pivot to another board or synergizes with the current one that you're utilizing. So it works in that manner. And the fishing rod is just good econ as well, right? It's just sometimes you're gonna get items that are duds and you're gonna end up selling them, right? Or sometimes you'll get items that scale with you selling more aquatic items as you purchase. So again, there's just a lot of incentives for the fishing rod because it can either be used as a econ tool if you're not utilizing a lot of aquatic items, or using it to pivot or synergize with your courtroom board, right? So a lot of utility with the fishing rod, and it's probably one of my favorite items for Vanessa. So I believe I chose 4 items for Vanessa, right? So just to key highlight the items again for Vanessa, it would be the star chart, incredibly useful for XP gain, not necessarily on your board. The wanted poster is kind of the additional XP gain if you have it on your board, and outside of it, dark water anglerfish, just an incredible item to utilize to win games, and the additional XP gain, right? And last but not least, the fishing rod. So those were some of the items for Vanessa. If you're interested in this kind of video, let me know. I can cover Dooley and Pig next, as I want to cover more of the base heroes as the game is growing in popularity. So thanks for watching, y'all. I hope you enjoyed this different video of the Bazaar. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe if you like any of my videos. Peace.